Got this Mustang in the shop. It's a 67 fastback. The flares on it that came on the car were some aftermarket job that some backyard person did. They were horrible. We chopped them off and we're gonna recreate them.
We're gonna be using metal forming technology to recreate these rear fender flares.
You caught me in the act of doing a little bit of foam shaping and in the process of getting the initial rough-in phase of it and discovering what I want it to look like. I got a long ways to go yet in sort of the discovery part of what it's gonna look like, but yeah, this is a two-part one-to-one mix of like a urethane foam. It's a little bit of porosity in it. You can use this as something to shape sheet metal to, and oftentimes that's what I do. And just literally just put it right on top of the foam, and as soon as I know it fits that, then we're good to go. So chop the foam out of the place, weld the flare back in. This is part of the kit that came on this, the piece that we all know, we see that goes right here. But we're gonna stylize it a lot more. Because we're changing this shape and what we want this to look like, I do have to, that snowball effects into me recreating this. I'll get this rough shaped and sort of in a really good place for what I want. And then we'll look at reshaping this. I'll probably even get Alex to scan this and maybe we'll just model that in space and do a 3D print prototype. Like I want this to roll in looking kind of like what was here in the front. So I want to recreate this. I'm going to add some style to it, but I don't want to take away from what already was in the design language that the car already had. At this point now, I'm just using like a sanding block with 40 grit on it, and it handles this beautifully. One of the things that we are going to be changing a little tiny bit from the styling points at what it was is we are going to add a little bit of a fender edge on it, a squared off fender edge, a little bit more like a modern car. Like if you look, you look it over at this E39 BMW, this squared off fender lip, that's what we're going to do on this. Very, very small and very, very subtle, just enough so that when we put the paint on it, get the highlight and low light difference. You'll see just enough. And that'll be a little bit nicer, a little bit more refined, and a nice touch to add to an old classic like this. It kind of just elevates it. In the past, you saw me do this when I was shaping the prototype hood for the Skylark build that we're building. In that version, I did the exact same thing as a base, then I masking taped over it, and then I took plastiline, like the oil-based clay, sculpted, well, I basically put that on the surface and refined that with sculpting tools. And then Alex went in there, scanned it with the Shining 3 scanner that we got, and then tossed it into Autodesk Fusion 360, and he's just finishing the surfacing. This little spot right here is where that ducting piece kind of fit. That surface we're gonna recreate, but back here. So this is gonna stay at this height, come all the way back, and then flip out there and meet and create this line all the way back here now. Moving that farther back and giving it more of an angle to match where the flare edge begins.
Normally from this point, we would use this as a buck and we'd start shaping metal to it. But in this particular instance, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna body work it, finish it out into its final form. We'll have Alex 3D scan it. And then from that point, we're gonna send it out to Saltworks Manufacturing, and we're gonna give the 3D metal forming process a try. And we're gonna get these 3D metal formed, which has some advantages, Actually, I think it's pretty much all advantages. Normally, the amount of time it would take us to do this is kind of comparable to the expense of having this sent out, but the advantage to it is it's going to be perfectly symmetrical from side to side, because if you've done any metal shaping, doing one side is always, I wouldn't say easy, it's still labor intensive, but making the other side match perfectly can be challenging. There's lots of back and forth, but utilizing this technology, we'll get 2 perfectly symmetrical fender flares. And the biggest advantage for us being we have a lot of things on the go, we can be doing other things instead of over here pounding out metal. So we're excited to give it a try. This is the first time we've done it, so don't ask too many questions just yet. Maybe further in the series, because we don't know how it's going to go, but we're excited to give it a try.
So what Rob did was that he smoothed over with Bondo. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to scan the section that Rob created, and we're able to then surface the overall shape, but also include like a flange around the whole flare that Rob could weld onto the existing quarter panel. So we're going to be using this new technology called CNC metal forming. It's able to take the scan or the surface data that we send to them, and it's able to CNC out a perfect surface from the computer. So with this new technology, it'll be perfectly mirrored. And then with the little flange that we're going to be including all the way around the end, it'll be easy to kind of weld it in place and then also just body work it after. So I think it'll be pretty cool to try it out. So yeah, we're going to get to scanning it and surface it and then kind of send it out and see how it goes. So we're using this Shiny 3D free scan combo, and it uses this blue laser technology to scan the car. So what we did was we laid these dots down for the scanner to track the areas that we're wanting to capture. And yeah, this new scanner that we've been using is pretty good at capturing like these cornered edges, and it's able to really track it in any reflective surface without the need of any scanning spray. I'm scanning the entire flare that Rob designed, and then we're also scanning the surrounding areas as well, to create a flange that comes off the flare for you to weld to the quarter panel, but also body lines like from the door over here, so that it kind of translates into the flare as well. And then we're also going to be designing this little vent section over here. So yeah, we're kind of capturing all the data that we can so that we can design the flare, this little vent, and also have it all tied into the design language of the car. So we brought it over to Fusion, and using the forms tool, we're able to create this little shape that Rob, had hand shaped with T-splines. So it's a little bit different than using surfaces and solid models, because T-splines, you're able to kind of create like a surface of nodes, and you're able to tweak each node to kind of make sure it fits to the shape. So if we go more in depth here in the file, I can show you more of what it looks like. It's hard to make like a perfect arc, obviously. So with, having it designed on Fusion, be able to kind of match where the wheel sits and create a perfect arc around that, and make sure like, the arcs, the little lip on the fender is symmetrical. And in this case, I wanted the design cue was that here we have the fender flare in the T-spline space, where you're able to see all the nodes that you would select and move around. So if I give you an example here, we could pull this out, like move this around, and then change the shape drastically. So the design language, one of the things was that it's very smooth and like a perfect arc, but this body line transitions into this hard body line that you would see on a normal like a wheel lip. What do you call it? Yeah, so stuff like that. And so we kind of accounted for all the flanges to make it easier for installation, where it would weld to the car easier. So we have like these little spot weld joints on the bottom of it, and then we have this little flange going across the entire car. So the design part of it is all done. We're gonna get this made using the metal CNC forming technology. So what that is it takes a sheet of sheet metal and then uses a machine that kind of presses in where all the features would be, all the the shapes would be. But after speaking with them, going back and forth, we realized that something like this wouldn't be created in one big sheet. Rather, it'll be created in different pieces to form one flare, just because of the how the material stretches and shrinks.
We still have a lot left to do to this Mustang and a lot to discover as well. So if you want to see more, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't, and share this video with your friends. And we will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.